All right. Hi, I'm Jared. If you're new to the channel, I do a lot of build streams. I talk about stuff that doesn't matter, and overall, am having a good time. It's so funny. I was thinking about this: lift, eat, code, sleep. I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, "That's it." That's. I was like, because I'm really trying to figure out what my loop is as a person. It's like everyone has a loop. I lift, eat, code, sleep, live, eat, code. It's like, when do I shit? You don't shit, Art. This is it. I mean, when do you shit? That's it. This is it. No, that's during the coding. The shitting's during the code. How you doing, Art? How's everyone doing today? If you're watching this, I'm like, I had a big breakthrough today on my on a project I've been trying to build for a while. And I realized I was like, oh, that's how I gotta build it. Like I had a moment where I'm like, yeah, I gotta like build it like that. So what I want to do is I want to build something that works like this, literally like this. I love web scraping. I love web scraping. If anyone's watching this, you're new to the channel. I love web scraping, and I do so much of what I need to build, whether it's AI project, work, or whatever. It requires me to understand the web and how to get things from it. I want to be able to do this. I want to have a query language where I can semantically scrape things. Let's say, I mean, like, I could also be like video ID or whatever. I want to just like scrape stuff like SQL. I want to have like a query language where I can literally just go to a site and be like, give me comments. Give me comments about this. Give me this. Give me this. And I want to make it so I can plug it into my web crawling routines. And then imagine you could join on this semantic on positive comments. You get what I'm saying? Like this is super rough, but like you could eventually have an entire query language that's just web fetching if the routines are working well. So like if you have is that be a real 10x? Because I was like, how do I make it so everyone's 10x? I'm like, chilling, just got to a cafe to scheme rest of the night. Nice. So you have a cafe, Art, and where you're at that's open this late? That's great. At was that like 5? That's great. Lift. Well, let's go back to what matters. Lift, eat, code, sleep. Like why? Like what do you do? You know, there comes a point in your life you have to realize, like, what the fuck? Who are you? You know, like there's a because like the you got to get a tight loop because eventually life hits you and you're like, what do I do? Lift, eat, code, sleep. You guys are all stupid. You know why? You're overcomplicating things. Not everyone. Not you are. Everyone else. Because people don't like keep things simple. I feel like that's one problem with the web right now, or like with the internet. Because you go on like Twitter and all this shit, social media, and it's like none of this fucking. It's like, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like I hear someone talk about their political opinions and all that. Maybe I've done that, and I'll just. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, So you're just like a guy who posts? Who are you? Who the fuck are you? It's like recipe for burnout, my friend. I lived that way for the last 3 years. Now I don't know what I want anymore. Um, dude, I've been doing this for 10 years. What do you mean? Dude, I don't get burnt. Here's why I don't get burnt out. Solo trail. It's because I love my life. And I truly I don't do this stuff because like I would never do this if it was hard. I genuinely love everything like things I do. And I'm not trying to give you an outline, by the way. I'm saying this is me, by the way. I'm not saying let's not I'm not you can do what you can do your loop. But should I have another one here? Is that better? It's for the ladies out there. One in the comment section. There's like one like I look at my analytics, it's a ton of like 25 guys. Fine God. Yeah. But that's the thing is I feel like I do get like once you figure out your game, you get closer to God. You do. Because like you don't all right, I'll remove that one. But you don't like you need to like keep things simple because you can't outthink the world. You can't outthink God, you know. It's like what is it? What is it solo trail? Do you want game uh eat again? Like I don't know like what else? What else do you do? Eat. No, but everyone has their own loop. Like have a loop. Have a game. Get good at your game. You know what I'm saying? Get good at your game. You need a rock. You know what I'm saying? By the way, I'm messing with you, Solo Trail. I'm not like be mindful. True, true. That's the thing is I feel like mindfulness comes like some of the best meditation I've had has been when I was working out. There's a moment. The reason why I started working out, I was like 17, and there was a moment where a friend of mine was like saying, "Dude, you got," because I remember after my like growth spurt, was like so fucking like skinny, and I was like sedentary because I was fucking like crushing, I was hacking, but I wasn't like, so I used to play sports when I was a kid, and I was like literally all about the computer, and my buddy was like, "Dude, you're like getting skinny." I was like, "Really?" And I looked in the mirror, I was like, "Whoa." And I started working out. I started like push-ups and all this stuff in my room, and I felt so good after it. Like it was like it blew my mind. Like I was like, do people not do does everyone do this? I was like, how do you live without this shit? Like, are you crazy? Like, and then I was like, I had like it made me feel so good. I had to do it, and it's so funny. Yeah, that like I'll try meditating, and I'm like, I can't. It's like I need to be in like some sort of steady state, some flow state. Let's talk about flow state. Talked about flow state before. Let's talk about flow state. Flow state matters. You're new here. Flow state matters. The way I try to get good at shit is I focus on how I can get in a flow, because part of it, everyone's just a program. You are, dude. Thank you for saying that. That just reminded me of something I did want to talk about. So, like, you don't know flow. Okay, flow state, also known. I'll talk about flow state first. Colloquially, as being in the zone. Um, you know, when you're, I can say that. But it's a mental state in which a person performing such activity is fully immersed in a feeling of energized, focused, full involvement, enjoyment in the process. That's it, of the activity. When you get into flow state, like if you're ever really cohesive in a sport, you get into flow with your team, you definitely know this, where you get in a flow. And the way to get, because I've been like really trying to figure out greatness. And I know it sounds funny because it's like, oh, you're just coding or whatever. But dude, greatness matters. Your ideal, having an ideal matters. You know, and it's like part of getting there, dude, it's about keeping things simple. Every time I've gotten better at what I do, it's always been, it's almost like I was on autopilot for like a few months. And then I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck? I just built like a ton of shit. Dude, like I remember when I was mini Jared and I would play, like I remember I played youth football for like 7 years or some shit. And I remember there was and you know, I was like, I was about to say I suggested for kids, but maybe not. Maybe that's why I got a little bit of the tism. But what was I talking about? I'm just kidding. But I was like, I at first, it's so funny. I was always on losing teams until the last year. And I remember like it was so funny because I didn't care because it was like I was like, whatever. I just like hitting people. Like I just like hitting I like getting the ball or whatever. It's like when you're a kid, everything's so simple. But then the last year, so there's this one guy in the league who was like, he would win the coach. He would win every fucking year. And I remember, and he was the team I was on when that last year I was in where we won the championship. And it's so funny because I always think about this when I think about like greatness and all that, because he would be like, it's so funny, dude. The practices on my losing teams were always like so hard physically. It was like calisthenics and all this shit and like running. And I'd be like, oh, dude, I hate practice, but I love the games. But this one guy, dude, his practices were so easy. But we were so good. And I remember my buddy was like, dude, I'm not even playing this year. I'm doing wrestling because he just cheats every time. He gets like the best players. Dude, we were an undersized team the year we won. There was like two teams that were like bigger, I guess. And you know why like why we won? Because he would always focus on, he'd always talk about we got to build up because we're just kids, right? We got to build up the software, not the hardware. The hardware follows the software. And it's like, it sounds like that doesn't, when you're a kid, you're like, okay, I don't care. But dude, that's so important. It's about building it's like, because we would just drill. We wouldn't do like a ton of crazy shit. We would just drill. We just drill and drill and drill. And there came a point where we became playful doing these drills because we'd get so cohesive and we'd know each other really well. And then like I realized I'm not even like athletically worse. In fact, like yeah, I'm still getting stronger and all that because it wasn't. I'm not saying you don't need to work hard, but what I mean is like sometimes you have to just get into a flow where you're just like harmonizing, you know, like, and then the hard stuff becomes easy. That's why I build so much. It's like the hard stuff when you get into your fucking loop. Everyone do what you want to do. I'm just scatting, man. Once you find your game over time, hard things become easy. Dude, like there's streams now where I'm not, by the way, I'm not perfect at all. There's a lot I don't know at all. I'm not, there's so much, I can become such a better engineer in a lot of ways, but like there's streams where I'll do something and in the end I'm like, man, I solved problems in there that when I was like 17, 18, it would have took me like a whole day. And it's only because it's like you start like getting to another level and then you're still doing the same game you were doing before. It's the same problem solving, but you're just escalating it. And eventually you get into a flow state where you're enjoying the process. And then you just fucking you elevate. If that makes sense. Like once you start enjoying the process of what was hard in the past, then you're like, wait, I did that hard thing every day for like a month and I didn't even realize it. And then you're just like, and then all of a sudden you can do new hard things. You know what I'm saying? I like Jordan Peterson's way of putting it. Got to have an aim, pursuit, and progress towards it. Feels meaningful. Yeah. We got to slay the dragon. The dragon inside. You know what I'm saying? The little fucking, the mini you. Because there's a you, right? There's a you. Fucking, how many stick figures have I drawn? And I know I'm showing off my artistic talents here. Look at this fucking guy. There's a you. And then in you, there's a little mini you that's just fucking always hovering. And he kind of sucks. And he's like, he's got these fucking, he sucks. That's the anima or animus if you're a male. It's Carl Jung. It's part of what Peterson talks about. It's like you have this, where your anima develops when you're dealing with this little mini you. So your anima as a male is this, it's the feminine into your masculine, right? So it's like, this is the way it is, but like the idea is that it's like almost like a negative voice, like of saying things you can't do. And that's not so much bad, but it has a use. It's like the things you can't do because you're little fucking, and then your whole life you're trying to develop who you really are, like the fucking Chad you, who's like strong as shit. Like you're constantly trying to develop, and he's like happy because he's high tea, or he's like you're kind of you're constantly trying to develop this guy, but like the negative voice, because it's two different nodes, right? Like this is all Jungian psychology. There's like the positive and the negative node, and when you're a boy, it's useful having that negative. Like I'm not saying it's useful being like you can't jump off a bridge or something because you're like a kid, right? It's useful to have like a bit of a box when you're really young, when you're like 5. But the problem is this is something I always focus on, is like its potential. It's like, how do you like exercise? Like, dude, this is why, dude, I'm always all day I'm thinking about potential. Potential. It's like, that's what this guy is. It's your potential. And it's a choice. So like you're constantly like in between these two worlds right here, of that negative and the positive. This is the negative node and this is the positive node. This is chicken scratch. No, I like drawing stuff to think through ideas. But it's like the nega, and then the pot. You're in between two worlds, a nig and an No, this is wireframing. Yeah. No, it's like because it's useful like the negative like they call it like the mother. It's like the devouring mother is like the motif. And a lot of what Peterson says is based off of Freud and Jung, mostly Jung. And there's this archetype that's like constant like is feminine and it's actually good for young children because it's what makes sure you like live when you get older. But like the problem is after a while, if you don't go through your rites of passages, you can that negative voice saying what you can't do, and more so a scarcity mentality. That like scarcity mentality can you can be a grown man with it. Where it's like whenever you think about what you can like whenever you have a positive feeling, let me like actually fucking map it. I don't know why I'm talking about it. I'm talking about something else. But I think this is fucking interesting. Look up individuation if you want to know what I'm talking about. But it's like so like let me think. So there's like okay. So you're in a box. You're in a fucking box. And it's you. We're wireframing right now. This is you. And holy shit, I'm like you're describing my mind. Yeah. So like you're in this box right now. This box was purposeful. A lot of the problems with modern day society is that we we don't teach our boys to get out of the box. We just build the box. Your box was meant to keep you safe. But like fortunately, some people like me had to get out of the box because we just fucking had to for reasons. So I can tell you fucking what's going on here. But hope like it should be you get out of the box because you have like a healthy life and shit. Because like because there's a lot of ways to get out of the box, but the box is meant to keep you safe. So it's like your mom's like and it's a good thing if you had this it's like it means you were nurtured, right? Because a lot of people narcissistic personality disorder comes from people who didn't have the box. So they're constantly trying to protect their ego and their self by being in control of other people, right? Uh, so like the box is meant to keep you safe. It's like I can't do this, and then you'll have a logical reason why. Because my girlfriend won't like me. That's the first. That's like you're like 18, right? I can't do this because I'm not strong enough. That's like the main thing. I'm not like I literally am not a strong enough male to do this thing. Someone else, it's like you see how it's like you have logic because the male you have logic to make your decisions. So like you're thinking in the box, you're like, I have to stay in the box because logic, not logic. You think it's logic, but you're in because you're everything makes sense in the box. They get your God is your box. I have to stay. It's like there's a struggle, and there's a voice in all of us that's like this. It's like the oh you can't do that, you can't do that. Like it's fine. Like it's really just your parents. Like it's really just whatever was the social structure growing up, whatever was the this what you use to develop your super ego. That's the Freudian way of putting it. So like Freud had the super ego where he's like you have like the id, the ego, and the super ego. Super ego is like the ideal, like what you are supposed to do. You know, it's like how you develop your morality. But what's happening now is it turns out the box isn't really that good for you. Because notice this sentence. I have to stay in the box because logic. I've heard that, like, you'll hear this a lot where it's like this is like you're deferring authority and agency. So the problem with the box is that it makes you feel like you do not have agency. Because part of what makes you become a man versus being a little fucking boy is having that sense of agency. So it's like, first you're in the box and you're like, okay, this is nice. Like, I don't, but also these kids around this, like that block, they want me to go play basketball at this place we're not allowed to. But I can't do that. I literally can't do that because the box said so. Like, your logic is based on lies. Like, it's not real. It's not based on the world. So like certain things can happen to you to get you out of the box. Someone can typically a bad person can come in and take you out of the box. This is evil. So evil can take you out of the box. Degeneracy and evil. And this can be through a person who's like, because it's very tempting. A lot of the things that can take you out of the box can be the tempting things. Everyone knows the people that they get their masculinity from doing bad things. It's like, I robbed this store, that means I'm a man. I got that nigga. You know what I mean? And that means I ain't got. It's like, it's the id, it's the instinct. It's the, so like, this is not the path. This is a path. And so here's what happens in society. So when you don't have rites of passage, because the rite of passage, let's talk about rites of passage. What is a rites of passage? I have an argument that's the good. So it's like when you have rites of passages for men, they make a choice to do something hard to get out of the box. There's something that happens in life where you have to get out of the box. Like you're literally going to get out of the box. And you can make a choice to, or you can let the voices come. You can get out of the box because you feel emasculated, so you're going to do something you might regret. And that's letting time be the decider. Like offloading your agency to time. But you can make a choice. So like, I don't know if anyone's paying attention, but the West is a kind of, we don't have to get into it too much, or we can, depend on what you guys think. The West is kind of fucked. And a lot of it's because we've been abusing the men for a very long time, ritualistically. And I get it. It's not like, written on a piece of paper, but I mean, the systems we've set up makes it so you stay in the box until you essentially degenerate. Because you have to get out of the box. But if you don't get out of the box because you choose to, because of a greater thing, because of an ideal that you want to push towards, because you want to push towards something great, because you're you see another side of what a man is, and you're like, I need to get closer to that. So then once you reach towards that, you reach towards the threshold. He's reaching. Guess what? You have to reach out of the box to do that. And then that's what destroys the box. Is when you make a choice, you make a decision. And it's logical, right? It's like part of what makes you a man is your ability to make a decision. Anyone who's been in a relationship knows this. It's like part of what your use is it's like a girl comes up to you and she's like, oh, do you like this dress, like this red dress or this green dress? I promise you it doesn't matter which one you pick. Or if she's like, oh, what do you think about what I wear? I promise you it's not like just pick one. Some advice. They want you to make a decision. Okay. And partly it's a good thing. It's like your ability to make a decision is like that's what makes you like you. And you have to choose to get out of the box. And the problem with choosing to get out of the box is that it's hard. And it's hard for everybody. It's the same fucking hard shit for everybody. And it's like it's a fork in the road. And you can let time be the decider. And that's weirdly enough your choice too. Because what happens is when you're in the box for long enough, and you have the mentality of, oh, I can't do this, I'm too X to do this. Eventually it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We've seen that. It's like a guy says, oh, I'm too this to do this for long enough. Eventually he is. It's like, yeah, man, you are to that. Oh shit. I need the lift eat code here. Sleep. Lift eat code sleep. Does that make sense? I'm just scatting, man. I'm just scat. There's a funny what's it called? This sketch with like what's that? It's like this Bing Crosby sketch. Dude, what was that sketch? I'm just scatting. He was like, I have to find this. Dude, what's the Bing Crosby Christmas song? Am I thinking of the right guy? I get maybe I did get hit in the head too much. I don't think it's Bing Crosby. Is it White Christmas? No. There's like a really funny sketch where this guy was like, I can't do it because I need to know the song. But he's like singing this song. He's like a doop dee doo, dickory dock. Okay. I'm not gonna find it. That's fine. But yeah, you gotta find your, and here's why the game matters. Here's why you gotta find your game. Because the game is the meditation. Do you think some people just naturally doubt themselves or they've been influenced to think that way? I think it's super natural to doubt yourself. It's analysis paralysis. Especially if you're someone who is very observant thinking. Like if you're someone who's actually like high IQ and you have very good pattern recognizing skills, yeah, you're gonna doubt yourself a lot because that's logical to doubt yourself because you were the force that made it so when you were a little kid, you didn't kill yourself accidentally. That force kind of made it so you would have to literally doubt yourself. And I'm not saying that's like a problem. I'm just saying because like, but that's why it's good. You have like a mother and father, and it's like healthy because eventually the dad starts being more the force in your life once you're like, 9, 10, or like sometime around that. Because and it could be your dad doing it. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. But yeah, if you have analysis paralysis, you're gonna 100% doubt yourself. Because if you see a lot of patterns, you're gonna see the pattern that you're literally in your current state. Dude, here's where, okay, here's for anyone who has analysis paralysis. Please, you don't have to listen, but please listen, because this is your problem. So like you're probably smart. I'll give you that. And that's why you're having analysis paralysis, because you see a lot of patterns and you see the way things are, and you realize the pattern of you is probably that you are unable to do something because of logic, and you're looking at logic. So here's the thing about the way the world works. Self-belief comes from the result of when you take a leap of faith over and over again and you win. You can't fake it. You can't like out fucking maneuver self-belief. You can't like look at a fucking Alex Hormozy video and be like, oh, you can't go on YouTube and be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to YouTube and I'm gonna go to the tube and jeez, it's slow. And I'm going to look up Alex Hormozy motivation. And again, I'm not shitting on Alex Hormozy. And I'm gonna look at, so he's like, this is why only 1% succeed. If I watch this video, I'll be the 1% that's no. You can't outthink your shitty existence. You have to outwork it. You have to do. There has to be a balance of it. Because eventually you can be this type of guy and end up in jail. So, don't be stupid, but you have to take control of your instinct. The reason why some people just seem to fucking believe themselves is because they do more things that are just illogical to them not being able to do something. And they practice it young. So it's like doing something that's like not that consequent, like doesn't have a lot of consequences, like skateboarding, doing like some downhill thing that's like hard, or going up climbing high when you're a kid. That'll build in you this self-belief where you're like, oh, I overcame, like I was afraid and I overcame it. So now my brain works in a way where the logic is that I actually can do something rather than can't do it. So if someone that is like naturally doubtful, the only way, if there's no other way, is you have to, for all the things you're doubtful of, you have to literally just ignore those thoughts and do the thing that you're afraid of. That's the only way. And once you do that, you'll have a logical pathway to self-belief. And it's not going to be like you're amazing after it. So you have to keep doing it. And then once you can do it a lot, like you do the loop, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your loop is, you get to like for instance, if you're really afraid of like snowboarding or something, or skiing, because it's a pretty obvious fear, I guess, because you're going fast and it's downhill. It's like you do it once, you created the logical pathway. You do it twice, you start solidifying that pathway, and eventually you do it enough that you get to a higher level. And then you can get to a flow state and you can start enjoying things that push yourself. Do they have the graph here? You can start enjoying, because flow state's right here, where the challenge level's high and the skill level's high. So like that thing that had a high challenge level before, snowboarding or whatever, rock climbing, that thing, you can now get into a flow state because you've done it so much. You've pushed yourself past what you believed before. That's challenge. So it's like you took yourself to a new level of consciousness, a new level of belief. And you've done that enough that now your skill level is higher, and then you can get into a flow state where you're actually like, if the arousal's more than anything, or like I almost died on a snowboard. This web back end is nothing. You almost died on a snowboard. Yeah. I hit my head really hard one of the last times. And I was like, maybe I should chill. Because like that's how I make money. Yeah, web back end is not a problem. If for like, but here's the thing though. It's like you keep pushing yourself. It's like, hey, stream, you know what I mean? It's like, if like, do build code in front of other people. That's another challenge you could do, you know what I mean? It's like, try to like ace a Fang interview, even if you don't want the job or something, you know, give yourself, raise the intensity. That's why exercise is okay. Here's why lifting's so important. And I get it. I feel like everyone says shit like this, but so lifting is pushing yourself past what you believe. You can do it for a lot of different sports. My ideal is to be Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot is like it's just like an autist. That's all it is. It's a show about a guy that made his inability to get laid into a hobby. Anyway, let's talk about coding. Oh no, let's talk about lifting. So lifting is pushing yourself past what you believe, right? So like every time when you raise intensity for the first time, you're literally like killing your analysis paralysis. It's a meditation where you're constantly just making it so you don't, that like I can't just doesn't fucking exist. It's literally just a mindset. Eric Bugenhagen is right. Do you guys know Eric Bugenhagen? He's the man. He's the fucking man. The Boogs. You guys know that guy? Your ideal is Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot kind of sucks. No. I remember watching that show and I'm like, what is the point of this? Eric Bugen, he's the man because he talks about it. It's literally just like the mental. Can you get past the mental? Lift, eat, code, sleep. That's it. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I was gonna code. How'd you die on almost die on a snowboard? Well, find your ideal, play your game, get closer to your ideal. Don't you have to pick the right thing to be good at though? Can a dude ever be happy in a flow state being an expert glue eater? Yeah, but well, it should be something that you believe in. Sammy, it's like it's a free will realm. You know, like you give power to what you put attention to. You truly do. Like I can go in the middle of or anyone. Your attention's so important, especially as a man. Like you can go into the middle of Washington Square or some popular park and you can just get a fucking water bottle and put an empty water bottle, put it in the center of the park or whatever, and just sit there and just stare at it. And you could do that all day. And eventually someone's going to fucking be like, what's that guy looking at? Like, why is he looking at that bottle? And if you look at it long enough, there might be news cameras coming there. You get what I'm saying? Like it's about what you want to put your attention to. That's it. It's between you and the thing. It's like you pick what makes sense. Like dig deep, like go back to source. What was the shit that you did when you were a kid that was like weird? That was like, why were you doing it? But it just felt so natural to you. Like, were you going and it could be something that isn't going to make you money, but you don't know. Some things, dude, people have like made money off of like of the weirdest, strangest hobbies, and eventually it became industries. You know, like Henry Ford was just really into like making watches as a kid. You know what I'm saying? But he was like so into what he wanted to do that eventually he started getting so good at mechanics that he was able to see different patterns in different places and see, oh, like the types of engineering I'm doing, I can apply that to what horses do. Will's like, maybe I was exaggerating a little bit, but my first time snowboarding, my friends told me the practice hill was on top, and my dumbass believed them. It took over an hour to get through my first run. Yeah, you didn't die. Your friends were putting you through the ringer. That's a rite of passage. That's a rite of passage. Lift, eat, code, sleep. All right, I'm gonna start fucking coding. Still hanging though. You know if anyone has. I'm gonna make this happen right here. Select comments because I want to make the perfect. Because I was really thinking about, I'm like, how do we get it so, like, I want everyone to be 10x. Everyone. If everyone's 10x, no. It's like I want everyone to no, but I was like thinking, I'm like, we need another way to build. There's so much. The web is moving in a direction that's like, I don't know if you guys so like know about like the web 1.0, web 2.0 thing, but okay, I have a thesis. So like the web is going to need to get fucking real. Okay. Here's why. Let's talk about it. Let's do a little history lesson. Let's do a little history lesson. So we know what Web 1.0 is. Everyone know what that is. Web 1.0. I may have done this before, but I didn't do it with I have some new knowledge right now. I have some new knowledge that mixes things up a little bit. Let's talk about this is what I've been doing. That's why I haven't been streaming so much, is I've been trying to fucking figure out how the fucking world works, okay? I'm trying to get you guys jobs, all right? I'm trying to figure out how to actually get you guys paid. No, because there's so much potential in the web right now. I mean, none of it's being tapped into because everyone's trying to build fucking AI wrappers for their bullshit data. It doesn't make there's so much that can be done, and honestly, LLMs aren't the most. Hey, I know everyone's talking about AGI. I don't think AGI is happening. Sorry, I don't like. I'm not a decel, but like, I just don't think it's as big of a deal as we think it is. I think the real big deal is what's going to happen when there's so much fake bullshit content. That's what I care about. Okay. Like what's going to happen when no one wants to go on the internet anymore? Because the fucking like the Silicon Valley dorks, me included, don't understand that no one likes that. Like no one really likes half the shit that gets built. And when people start figuring out they actually don't need to pay $20 for ChatGPT, and also it's diminishing returns. Half of the value. I won't talk too much about it, but like I don't know anyone serious who's like trying to build a big project with a lot of funding who's trying to use these GPTs at scale. But anyway. So Web 1.0, let's do a history lesson. And I did this before, but there's some updates. I have some updates for you guys. Little history of the web. Why does it suck shit right now? So Web 1, let's give myself some space here. Web 1.0. This was the beginnings. Basic web browsers. Everything has so much potential. Anything can get made. Your grandma has a website with little kitten animations and it's all cute, and I'm like typing that out. You get it. Okay, we have e-commerce. We can storefronts. I typed front end so many times. Storefronts are now online. Okay. So we have this. So the first phase of the web, this is roughly, I'm going to say roughly 1990s to 2005. We have this phase of this, let's say 2004. We have this phase of the web where it's like a gold rush. Everyone's just getting there, and people are doing a lot of experiments, but there's not a lot of adoption yet. So this is pre-mass adoption. A lot of there's a lot of people going on the web, don't get me wrong, but there's not a flood. It's not like everything to everybody, right? And by the way, and then we have web, and I'm not like making this up. These are like the real terms. I'm gonna start making things up in a little bit. Here we have Web 2.0. Here this is the user generated content generation. It's like 2005 to like, you could say now, but I'm gonna say, so I'm gonna say question mark. Let's actually get into that. Let's get into that question mark, because I don't know if you guys know, but everyone's been trying to fucking define Web 3.0 for a while. Let's just put Web 3.0 here for a second. People have been trying to define that for a while, and people thought it was crypto for a bit. Just to show you how no one fucking knows what Web 3.0 is, people genuinely thought crypto was Web 3.0. Does anyone actually use crypto for anything? I mean, I know some people like gamble with Bitcoin and like buy drugs with Bitcoin or get scammed by Nigerians, but like, does anyone actually make like use it for like something that's like real? Okay. So I get it. You don't have to say, I know if you use if you buy your like little crypto kitties or whatever, I get it. It's all good. But Web 3.0 is somewhat of an unknown right now. But so this is called the prosumer web. So people are producers and consumers. Now, this is like my life. Thinking about through this shit, this is what matters to me the most. For some weird reason. So like the prosumer web users. So like everyone has a profile and everybody posts. So we have you are the product. So now we have behavioral analytics, and advertising is king. Facebook. Oh, by the way, this is more so like Google and shit. Google and Amazon. Babies of Web 1.0. Web 2.0, we have Facebook, we got Twitter, we got MySpace, we got YouTube, all that shit. We got Instagram. Okay. Actually, I won't talk about Instagram yet. So Web 3.0, we can talk about a few things. You get it so far? So we have the beginnings. We have Web 1.0. We have I dream of these days. I never. We have the times on the world where people look at the web and they're like, "How? What are there's so many fucking possibilities with the web. My grandma can fucking have a website with little kittens all over it, and I can hack it and put my dick off." But you get it. It's like there's so much potential in the web, and there's so much stuff that wasn't built, and so much that could be built. So history matters because you got to look at the through line. So I look at this and I look at what happens around 2005 is you get social media. I should also say social media. You get social media. You get user-generated content. I'm just going to say user-generated content. You have now the users are posting content and their behavior matters for these companies. Because now I know if your grandma likes kittens and she posts about it, and a ton of people with her same demographic do the same thing, then I can sell to them if I have kitten fucking software or I have kitten mittens. I sell kitten mittens. You get it? So now, so behavioral data became king. And now we have FANG, which I talked about in another stream. So what happens after this? We get mobile. Web 3.0 really is mobile plus data, plus big data. That's the main thing. I know people have their own opinions about it. I don't think it. Here's the thing. I don't think it's crypto and decentralization. You know why? Because the 90s to 2004, all this shit was because people wanted to set up stores online. People wanted to use the internet. People wanted to use Google. People wanted to do all the static generated content. You know what I'm saying? Web 2.0. People wanted to post online. People wanted to find their wife on Facebook. People wanted to use Twitter and all that. No one really wants decentralization. People use it because we have too many nerds now. Because nerds became cool in 2000 and whatever. And so yeah, nerds became cool in 2000 and I don't know, 10 or whatever. So now everyone knows what crypto is. Right? So everyone knows what crypto is who's people want to make money on crypto. People don't use it. And for decentralization, I'm sorry. It's a tech pipe dream. I like Bitcoin, but hate the community. They scream about how their currency will take over, but refuse to spend any of it because hodl, I guess. Yeah, I find it to be mental derangement. People like crypto bros. I'm stay away from me. No, but I think Web 3.0 is largely about mobile and big data. So we have a situation where everyone has devices. Everyone is constantly, because it used to be I got to go to your laptop to post, constantly posting. You could say these kind of get merged. Maybe this is 2.5. you have a situation where there's too much fucking data, right? So now, what do we do with all the data? We have an industry around making sense of too much data. Data science. See? Data warehousing. The cloud. You get it? Like, we have like a ton of stuff that gets developed on how to manage the posters. But not just that. It's not just the posters. It's also, we have like a billion people using Facebook, right? We have like a billion people buying stuff on Amazon. So it's like, how do we manage that? I see Web 3.0 as the infrastructure to deal with mobile and big data. That's been a whole phase. Oh yeah, and then we have APIs. All about Web 3.0 is about APIs. It's about the cloud. Here's the main things: APIs, cloud, and just big data. I'll just say that. That's it. That's what it's all about. Virtual nets. Yeah, I don't speak Russian. Sorry. Are you a bot? You would have to know I wouldn't know Russian, dude. Hey, what's up? Just bobbing around. What like random American black guy knows Russian, dude? No, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just, I'm very wary of bots. Okay. Like, know your audience. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I was being a dick there. Hi, bro. Hey, what's up? It says hi, brother. Dude, how am I supposed to? It's okay. I'm sorry. Virtual Netscape. Are you Russian though? How's it going over there? All right. So here we have. So here's we get to the fun part. Are you ready for the fun part? This is the fun part. So we have Web 1.0, we have Web 2.0, we have Web 3.0, there's Web 4.0. This is where we're at right now. I don't even know the timelines for this. Let's just say fucking 2012. I don't know. No, let's say 2012 to 2013 to like 2023. Whatever. Gives a fuck. Times don't make sense. Okay. So we're in a new generation right now. Bro, want to know what 3.0 is? We about to hammer out 4.0. Yeah. So here's 4.0. Here's what you got to fucking. All right. Here's 2024 and beyond. And let's think about the logic. Okay, this is why we look at history, because we have to understand the logical pathway. We have the beginnings. We have everyone adopting something and not knowing what to do with the potential. Here we have so much data being created and getting centralized by major companies, and behavioral analytics getting used from that data. Here we have, now everyone has devices it's not just like people post at like 5 p.m. now. It's like everyone's constantly posting. We have a post-a-thon. Everyone's just constantly swiping and fucking and cooming and posting. And we have to build the infrastructure. Your job is to build the infrastructure for all the people who are cooming all the fucking time. Okay, that's how you make money as a software engineer. Is people coom, you build the coom devices. No. But there's a better way. So 2024, and this isn't idealized. I'm just saying the logical thing that's happening right now. ChatGPT. This is what happened. Started Web 4.0. People fucking hate feeds generally. They're addicted, but it's a bit much. What I don't mean the usage is going down right now. What I mean is we're in a late stage of addiction when it comes to the web. We're in a late stage of consumption. So this is all about AI and how to manage chaos. That's Web 4.0. Is that because this is why entropy matters. You have to think about it. Every system gets to a point where the noise just starts to fucking it gets crazy. So I don't know if you guys know that it's signal noise ratio. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that term. SNR is what it's called. An industry term for signal for for data science. I'll just say for data scientists. So and it's for other people too. Sorry, I'm trying to be very for data people, data info people. I just want to be as accurate as possible. I don't want to just say it's only that. So what happens is when you have a system that has so much fucking information, there becomes a lot of noise. And a lot of that's why you don't just start building without thinking. So people built a ton of shit here. So people in Web 2.0 built, like Facebook builds an ads platform, right? They just fucking build an ads platform. They don't fucking think about it, right? They're just like, yeah, let's build an ads platform. Well, turns out, and a lot of people that run businesses are realizing this after a while, if your entire business is based on getting customers from ad targeting, if there's any time where there's too much data for these businesses to handle, your targeting is going to get a lot worse and worse and worse and worse. A lot of people are realizing now that it turns out all this ad data we have, it's kind of not that useful anymore. And this is where we get into native advertising. That's where we get into that's when we get into the signal. How do we amplify? How do we define the signal? How do we make sense of all the noise? Okay, so Facebook has so many people fucking posting that they literally can't like give you data. So this is where ChatGPT comes into play. People think, I'll say OpenAI. I'll say ChatGPT. So people think OpenAI's business isn't just to kill your business. OpenAI's business is to make signal stronger and denoise what's a good way to put it? The market, the user, denoise user behavior for vendors. Okay, so the more people depend on something like an LLM for their content, the more you don't have to look at Twitter, Instagram, all this behavior. You can now just focus on one place. Okay, so there's a lot of problems with that because one, it doesn't address a lot of the issues here. But two, it's not that great. I mean, it's good, but it's not like a lot of people really don't just like asking ChatGPT for what like the interface isn't perfect. All roads right now lead to ChatGPT in terms. So we're gonna get to a point where the interface is gonna change from searching to prompting. Actually, that's a good way of putting it. We're going from searching the web to prompting the brain. Obviously, there's a lot of issues here. This doesn't address short YouTube shorts, right? This doesn't address the fact that people are scrolling and clicking and sucking and fucking, right? This doesn't address Tinder. You know what I'm saying? But this is a sign. We're in a new stage of the web. The economics of Facebook don't make sense anymore. That's partly, in my opinion, why Facebook branded Meta and is pushing AI so they can get a jump on the mega mind. What's the best way to put it? So this is why they want AGI, in my opinion. AGI is about control. How do you control the signal? Did I explain this as ratio? Yeah. The signal and denoise so you can get more clarity on behavioral metrics. Because you understand, FANG, all these, they just care about behavioral metrics. That's it. How much citizen data can they get? They make a ton of money on that. Because that's like that's the only way they make money. Is this making sense? I just want to make sure I'm not losing anyone. So part of your job. So let's start. Okay, your job in the next phase is to make sense of the chaos, of the noise. Get good. I promise you, I'm not just saying this because it's like get good at web scraping. Get good at data science. Yeah, it's 100% dystopian. Yeah. By the way, I'm not saying this is good. I'm just saying this is literally what's happening. Get good at web scraping. Get good at data science. Get good at building a product based on the chaos you made structure to. Find a way to structure bullshit. Here's an example. I don't know, the couches idea. You guys were there for Jack's couches idea. Dude, that's so funny. That's actually a perfect example of this. My buddy Jack from Schemology, him and his buddy have an idea for a company called Couches, where I know this is such a stupid fucking example, but this actually is what I'm talking about. Just not on this isn't like disruptive level or whatever, but it's an example. It's an app that aggregates all the free couches in your area. So all the couches you can chill on, public couches. So couches at a restaurant, restaurants that have couches and all that shit. So in order to do this, you would need to, at a massive level, you would have to fucking use AI to search conversations to people are saying, unstructured conversations, reviews, all this shit, and then based on locations and restaurants all in your city. That's an insane data mining project, but it's super valuable, because if you can solve problems like that, you can start taking these millions of fucking conversations that are happening and increase the signal for what you want to do and denoise it. I know I'm saying a lot of stuff, but it really matters that I'm thorough here. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like, get good at making structure from chaotic data. You know what I mean? So you're saying that ultimately all this new AI tech is going to be leveraged to sell people shit to feed the capitalist machine? Yeah. Yeah. No, it absolutely is. So here's the silver lining. Here's the silver lining to all this. You don't have to play the stupid game. This is partially why I don't stream OpenAI API stuff, because I actually think the company's pretty unethical. Yeah, they're trying to make a fucking mega mind. Like like what Meta's doing, having these open source models, is actually very good for society. You don't have to play the stupid game. Also, what's like another silver lining is, turns out the noise does actually suck for users. Like, I don't know for you guys, but for me, it sucks to go, like, a lot of the web is like, it's too much shit. Just being real. Like, I'd rather be in a mountain. There's days where I'm like, can I just find a fucking mountain? So the noise does actually suck for you. So here's where I don't know the future. I'm just talking about, like, this is where things are going. So you can build a better web with your own fucking shit. Hookers and cocaine. No hookers and cocaine. You get what I'm saying? You don't have to play this stupid game. You can genuinely build a better web. Because right now, it turns out all this shit, here's the silver lining. Here's the real silver lining. All this shit that happened. What are you building today? Dude, am I building today? This is what ADD and having high energy does to you. So here's where we get to what I'm building today. Here's where we get to what I'm building today, Sid, because this is all related. So all this shit that's happened through the years, the user-generated content, the prosumer web, the big data, all this shit, all this stuff, the AI, the ChatGPT, all this stuff. It made things too, like, suck. Like, you wonder why you go on Twitter and it sucks. It's not just because it's because it has to. Because they figured out somewhere around this time, in the 2005 to 2012 time, in BuzzFeed, I can tell a whole story about why it's BuzzFeed, but not anyone gives a fuck. But so they figured out, turns out, big tech figured something out. Turns out engagement is all that matters. Whether it's negative or positive. We just want your eyeballs. So they figured that out. So here's why. So you could say, oh, they made so much money and all that. So here's why it actually didn't work for that long. Like, yeah, it worked for like 15 years. It worked for like almost 20 years, but it's starting to break down now, because it turns out today, I just realized I'm like covering that. That there's too much bullshit. Okay, that's a funny way of saying There's too much fake news, influencers lying, and our eyeballs are getting a little abused. The thing about eyeballs and attention is that eventually, when the abuser abuses long enough, the attention starts to go somewhere else. So the silver lining is, here's where I see so much potential that's not being tapped into. I see a future where you can genuinely build a better web. You can build new platforms, alternatives, your own communities, your own feeds, while using or while taking advantage of technologies that give the web more structure. So, for instance, that couches idea, like, I mean, there's a ton of ideas. If you get really good at making the web have more structure, increasing that signal, don't worry about what fucking Facebook or OpenAI or whatever's doing. Just worry about what you want to do. Think of here's my advice. Think of a project that you want to use. Think about anyone else. Think of a platform that you want to use. Imagine you could get any data on the internet you want. Build it. And you could do it one line of code. That's the future. The future is all this, like, you don't have to learn so much. You could just learn basics. You could learn basic shit. And you could build projects and platforms that you want using real data. You could be like, hey, like, why don't I just fork, like, in the future, you'll be able to, like, fork YouTube. I'm being straight up. You'll be able to be like, hey, I know I sound crazy right now, but that's when I've thought about it. And I'm not, and if there's anything I know, it's shit like this. You could, like, be like, hey, let me make my own YouTube. And I mean, like, with the content. I don't mean like just like have your own, like, Rumble or whatever. I mean, like, you could fork the content. It gets complicated because of storage and shit like that. I get it. It gets complicated, but it's like, imagine, because there's so much possibility happening right now. So much possibility. I feel like things sucking is always the final destination because it's easier to coom and doom scroll than read a book like Fighting Gravity. Yeah, but you don't have to. You can build for the people that like reading books, Sammy. It's like, really think about it. It's like, you know what I think is going to happen? Things are going to get a lot more local. You already see it happening with a lot of content creators. You can follow the way content creators are working. It's like a lot of the most successful content creators, they keep it simple and small. They build a community like the Rogan. Well, Rogan didn't do a community, but it's like you probably know YouTubers like trying to think of, there's a lot of like gym fitness ones that they just like, a lot of live streamers right now where they're finding a good high quality niche, and they're actually, and people aren't more so like, think about, here's a sign of what's happening in the future. Like, think of when you went on the internet in 2012 and how you would just go on, you'd like surf, you'd like go and discover random things. Right now, there's so much noise that you probably just go online just to like see three creators, like those people. You know what I mean? Like you might scroll on your Twitter, but you might really only engage with like 3, 4 guys. You know what I mean? Like that's what's happening right now. People are your signal's getting fine-tuned. So there's more choice. You can choose to consume, or you can choose to like just consume awesome shit. And we should build the foundations for people to do more of that. Like software engineers have the ability to build a lot of cool stuff. We should be using that skill to make it so you don't have to like search for authentic stuff. Like it's more baked into the culture of the community you're in. It's now one-side engagement, I guess. Yeah, there is that too. There is that too. Yeah, but yeah. All right, I'm gonna start building a little bit. Let's see. I'm such a fucking spaz. Look at all this shit I just wrote. Such a spaz. I'm like crazy. Yeah, dude, it's getting it's gonna be wild. Oh yeah, but that gets into what I'm building. So I'm building something that I know I'm gonna make a lot of use for that works like this. Imagine if you had a query language where you could just do this. You could say, give me the comments from this URL semantically. You could say you could almost work like you could structure things like SQL. You could be like select I don't know, select what's like an example of something else. Select positive engagement from comments from, so maybe this would get likes, right? From, and then you could say like twitter.com or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways I need to do this. And it would just give you it, right? So this would it would automate a lot of these processes and detect on the site whether content is a comment or not. Think about how you would build that. Think about it. Because my goal is I want to make it so everyone's 10x. Because a lot of this stuff right down here, this is the stuff that I'll get paid for. It's building shit like this. Not that. Building, it's like so many people want data. What you really get paid for is solving the problem of getting the interesting data. That's where a lot of the money comes from. Solving the problem of like making a product around merging APIs, merging data. But what if you had a full Turing complete query language where you could interact with these websites? You could join on, negative. Let's say you get comments, you can join, and I'll say like from like my profile. And then you could say like limit 10 or something, like only get 10. If you don't know what I'm doing unless you know like SQL. I get it. This is SQL, by the way. I want to have a web query language. I know it's a little crazy, but I already have a decent chunk of what's needed for this. So like, let's say I could say join on negative comments. I'm being super rough right now. You get what I'm saying. Join on negative on comments dot negative or whatever, right? And then maybe I have a subquery from like union with some subquery. This is like not valid SQL, but you get what I'm saying. And I can say like select, video transcripts. That's a reach. You get it. Select articles from this, and you could say like select, and then maybe I say similar. Maybe I have a function. I don't know if you know SQL, but there's functions, and I could say select articles from some newssite.com or whatever, like foxnews.com. But what if so this is something where I could have something where I get all these comments, and then I find for all the negative comments on this guy's site, I could find similar articles, or articles related to these negative comments from Fox News. It's a big endeavor, but the reality is the logic is simple. It's a language that's Turing complete. The problem is simply embedding the functionality to scrape this page for the data. So the main thing is how to break down. So the main problem that I'm solving is how do you break down the semantic HTML of a web page? Because I don't know if you guys know the original Web 3.0. Tim Berners-Lee, the guy that made the World Wide Web, said that Web 3.0 was going to be a semantic web. So he had this idea. Let me actually go to the semantic web. So he had this idea. And I was so interested in this when he said it, but it's not, it's a pipe dream. It's not real. So he had this idea that you'd link data across web pages. And he was pushing this idea for years, but it never caught on because he's just a fucking dork. Just kidding. He's a cool guy. But it's true. That's why. Because he didn't understand that no one wants it. He's like, this is an engineering issue that he's trying to solve because he wanted you to build your website. I'm trying to find an example. He wanted you to build your website like this. By the way, yeah, this is section, article, footer, yada, yada. That's an example of semantic HTML, but it's way more than that. He wanted to make everything linked. It's not. Let me see, Web 3.0. Like an example is like you could have like social media. I'm trying to find it. You kind of get it conceptually. I want to see like a code example. You get it conceptually. Like I could have like something that's like my HTML, or I could have like a social tag or something. You get it? Like I could have like a social tag on my site, and then this is the same. Like I could have a social profile component on my site, and this would link to the social profile on Facebook, right? And maybe I have an ID, and this is a universal ID that's used everywhere. Maybe use the open graph for it. Like that was the idea. Like no one adopts shit like that because no one wants shit like that. Like think about why no one wants that. Oh, dude, Reed, you passed the fucking interview? Wait, an HR interview? Dude, awesome. Reed, you're the fucking man. Awesome. So it was a coding games test about JS, Node.js, Express, React, Nice, TypeScript. And next week you have a technical interview. Do you know what aspects you're going to get asked about? So you were asked, it's a junior interview? What's HR? So I'm going to assume you mean junior. You had a junior interview about JS, Node.js, Express, React, TypeScript. What was it on? I mean, dude, I would It could be so many. Your technical interview can actually be so many things because I don't know. Like, what did they say it would be on? Did they say it would be more intensive than this one? Did they say it would be like a project? Because let's fucking talk about it. But anyway, so this is the type of shit that, like, if you can do this, if you have a language that can do this right here really well. Oh, you had a behavioral one, and then you're gonna do the technical one later. Oh, okay. Okay. It's a junior. Oh, okay. So you didn't do the technical one. So, here's how I would do it. So this is Node.js, a junior MERN stack developer. Here's how I would test a junior MERN stack developer. Here's how I would do it. First, I would punch him in the dick. And then I'd wait, see if he folds, and then start the interview. So if he doesn't fold, I would first get into, because like you got to think about it, it's like Mongo, Express, React, Node.js. Really, the React is a big deal, but the fact that it's a Node.js position, I would really brush up on your Node.js and Express. Like, okay, here's how I would test someone. I personally would have a project that is partially built. Let's say like a CRUD app, basic CRUD app. And I would have them in person. I'd have them implement a full feature that would require them to build a React component using the specifications or using the formatting. Is the best way to put it. The coding conventions. The coding conventions in the code base. So that's what I'd vet them on. Is like, are they actually using the coding conventions? Or are they just being like fucking a dick about it? You know. So implement a full feature. So that would build a React component and build the Node.js Express endpoint. And I would say no database stuff for that because it's a little much. Or maybe I'll say like super simple database stuff or super simple. I would have them do that. And I'd have them have access to the full code so they can see what things currently look like. And I want them to, and I'd be like, hey, like, create a login component. Here's the logic for the password and shit, and do it. Like, I mean, that's an example. Like, that's what I would have them do. I'd have them finish something that's partially built. There's a couple reasons why I do that. One, because you get to see how they react with code bases. Like, do they actually? It's 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, you could do this in an hour. If it's a simple component, you could do it in an hour. But okay, here's what you'll probably actually get. Because I've gotten stuff like this. It'll be like, fix this React component, or like fix this. If this is a MERN stack thing, fix this endpoint, stuff like that. You might get something like this, the partially built thing. You might just get like it's only an hour. By the way, do you know if did they say that this is a because they might give you some fucking lead code. You might get straight up lead code. So another thing I've gotten is Node.js or JavaScript async bullshit. So like that's another thing I've gotten in these types of interviews where they throw some challenge to code async parallel from scratch. You know, like they'll do stuff like that. Check what I just said about coding games. But the coding games I've passed has 2 data structure problems and 2 React and Express coding refactoring, and the rest is a quiz. Oh, you already did that? Yeah, I would say prepare for it's probably gonna be the refactoring stuff. I've gotten a lot of variant stuff. That's the whole thing about these interviews is like it might be a ton of different shit. It's more likely going to be refactoring stuff. I think that's going to be that's like it's platformers like it's like Hacker Rank and Lead Code. I wouldn't be surprised. So they already gave you a like a coding games or you've done one before. Yeah, I would say Oh, you already passed it? Oh, okay. But you have another interview? Oh, 70. Oh, I see. So they gave you like a test to vet you. Yeah, your technical interview is going to be totally different than that. Yeah, your technical interview is going to be like it's going to be whatever they think is good, which is going to be like they might just give you some fucking JavaScript problem, like a JavaScript, like something specific to JavaScript. They might give you system design. Let's say look out for if they talk about backend shit a lot, they might give you system design stuff. They might give you a whiteboarding problem with the system design. I would say look into that. I'd say that's something that might. Yeah, the async parallel from scratch. Dude, yeah, I would get shit like that. Yeah, you might just get like it might just give you lead code. Though they're super in Node. Okay, they're super in Node. I would say get good at like knowing everything about Node and how Node runs. And like you can still mess around in Express. Don't mess around with like basic Node. Just like mess around with like async shit. Try to set up a server where you have to just or an endpoint where you have to do like a ton of processing and maybe try to see how you would scale a Node server on your own, something like that. If it's Node, if they're really into Node, they'll probably give you a Node question because like it's not really meaningful to give someone a React component if they already know Node stuff because it's like React's kind of simple. And you could just I'm sure in the coding games thing they could have just gave you the React part. I would say yeah. Does that make sense? I wouldn't actually punch him in the dick, by the way. Punch him in the face. Obviously, I wouldn't punch him in the dick. That's abuse. Punch like first, like you punch him in the face. You don't punch in the dick. You punch in the face. You see if he folds. Because if someone goes into an interview, first thing you do is punch him in the face, and they stay, yeah, that's a crusher. That dude's he's gonna be like, that's a 10x engineer right there. Yeah, they gave me 2 React components. I created one from scratch, and the other one is refactoring. One I've solved, and the other one was partially solved. Yeah, I would say you'll probably get something like that, but with a Node Express endpoint. So to get good at Node and Express, 100%. Definitely get good at Node and Express. Like, that stuff matters. That stuff matters. Lift, eat, code, sleep. Anyone else have any other? I think I'm just gonna. I just realized I have like so much stuff to code. I'm just gonna like talk with you guys in chat. I'm like not even coding, Yazan. I'm not even coding. This is a chill. This is a chill. I've just been like talking. I don't want to put my fucking. I've just been talking about like right now. It's helping Reed with the interview. Yazan, you got Oh, am I getting like forever fucking thing here? Hold on. Yazan, you got like questions too? Tomorrow's gonna be a big code day. It's gonna be a big code day. Yazan, Reed, you guys lifting? You guys working out? You guys got any PRs you're trying to hit? If anyone has a PR they're trying to hit, please talk. That's what matters. Not gonna lie, I gotta get back, dude. You gotta get back in the gym, Yazan. Come on, dude. Watch the beginning. I talk about why the gym matters for too long. Mainly calisthenics now. Nice. So you're trying to like lean down. Reed, does that make sense? Does that like everything about the interview? If they're super into Node and they say, like, if a company has a full stack, here's a good bit of advice. If a company has a full stack job ad and they're super about full stack, but they're mostly talking about their back end technology, you better fucking get good at the back end. Like the interview is probably going to be about the back end. I promise you, the guys hiring for that have probably went through so many like borderline stupid like front ends that didn't know the back end, that if they talk about the back end a ton, let's see. Oh, nice. 150 push-ups a day. Pull-ups, dude, nice. Dude, 150 push-ups is good. I remember I used to do that. Me and my buddy Carter, after coding all day, we would because when we were like 18, we moved to the city to get an apartment and just like see if we can get jobs in tech and start a company. And we would like code, we'd do our jobs like 9 to 5, and then we'd code another like 4 fucking 5 hours, and then we'd like work out. And we did that like every day. I'm like, now thinking about it, we did that shit every day. And we would do push-ups. We'd like see who can get more push-ups. Bro, I've been hitting the pretty consistent lately, not really going for a lift PR, just trying to become aesthetic. Yeah, aesthetic's a vibe. Yeah, dude, I feel like aesthetic is cool. I never go for aesthetics. But because I feel like, because you look good after doing a lot of strength training anyway. So you're trying to get big though. I respect it. Whenever I see dudes trying to get big, I respect it. I'm also like, I couldn't manage that because being super full sucks shit. I hate, like, I like being like lean and like not having a lot of food in my belly. I'll fast until like 3, 4, maybe 5, like a lot of days. Because I just like, I don't know. Like, I feel so good when I fast. And maybe I'll have like coffee or like green tea. And then like I also think that's how you shred too. That's how like I got super shredded this. I don't know if you guys can tell in the videos, but this summer I got shredded as fuck. And I think mostly it's from fasting and lifting. Like the way it works is like your T just jacks up when you're just fasting, but you're still doing heavy. It's like it might suck a little. I highly suggest walking a lot so you're not like um trying to get back to a workout, stop caring about school. Nice. I have I'm not the best school advice guy. I have a pair of I'm like, oh, you hate school? Drop out. I have a pair of calisthenic rings, dude. Calisthenic rings. Calisthenic rings. I need to have like a month where I just do that. Dude's fasting so fucking good. Gaming at the same time. Yeah, gaming will get you out of lift. I have a high metabolism. Last year I tried to bulk and I hated myself, even though I wanted to appear big. I admit it came from insecurity part because I was skinny when I was a kid. Yeah, dude, like I've had like two phases of bulking and I've never felt good after it. And I also my metabolism's crazy. So it's like there comes a point where I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, I'm just gonna get a lot of protein and just like have fun, like try to get a ton of PRs. Every time I'm in the gym, I'm like, let me just get a PR in something. Let me do like recently I've been jumping a ton and trying to get like a higher jump. And I've been like sprinting and like um deadlifting a lot. I mean, I always deadlift and squat and everything, benching. See, I feel like shit now. I'm like big muscles, logic of working. Yeah, true. If your life revolves around the gym, that does suck. By the way, when I say lift, eat, code, sleep, I don't mean like hate your life or whatever. I mean like I want to be very clear about that. I'm not trying to say I'm just saying keep things simple. Yeah. The meathead thing. Also, it's good to have other hobbies too. You know what I like? I love having oh, you mentioned MMA, exactly. I love having one other sport I'm doing. Right now it's mostly like the snowboarding, which is going to start up. But I like having one other sport that I'm doing that's like just like I always like the gym because it's like I like it the mental part, but some other sport, yeah, like if it's MMA or jujitsu or something, yeah, like some other sport to do to just to grease the wheels is like great. Running or like a team sport, something like like if you have a soccer league you go to, I think it's good to do both, but having some others, like if you swim a lot, having some other sport to do, I think it's good because it kind of want to get your muscles moving in a lot of different ways. Um, yeah, dude, Reed, you got to get that job, bro. You got to get that job, dude. Get good at Node. I'm not gonna. I don't want to fuck you up here, but I highly doubt um you're gonna get tested on a lot of React. I think it's gonna be mostly Node. Dude, who's playing World of Warcraft? What? People play World of Warcraft? Is that even still? I didn't even know that was still out. I've been so out of gaming since I was pretty much a teenager that I genuinely didn't know they. Yeah, man, dude, get the fuck out of there. Yeah, man, dude, just get that job. Get that job. You got it. But no, if you're good at Node, that will get you far right now. If you're good at like that stream I did where I talk about like how Node works, but when I talk about the back end, watch that back end stream if you haven't already, in my opinion, because I was really trying to like show the most of like the basics you need to know to be building servers. And I used to have a friend that I boxed with, but he left to the military. I can't find anyone else. Why is everyone afraid to get punched? Dude, I would just bobbing around. I would box with you 100%. The everyone's afraid to get punched in the face because they're in the box. Look, it's the beginning of the stream. If in the next 2 years I'm in France, my plan is on the right track. Nice. France seems nice. I was in France once. Um, doesn't boxing shrink your brain? Thinking, being afraid of stuff a lot shrinks your brain. So you might as well get punched in the face. Be probably. No, no, you're right though. Boxing, you don't want to get hit in the head a lot. That's why I stopped boxing because I was like, is this like? I was like, maybe I should stop. Not that I was even doing it a lot, but um, I was like, because I got hit in the head a lot when I was a little kid. So I was like, maybe I probably shouldn't. But also, like, it's super fun. I remember me and my buddy used to box in my apartment. This is so funny. My buddy, um, fucking, holy shit, I'm like forgetting his name. Uh, Chris. Well, yeah, fuck. But yeah, he disappeared by the way. But he's this random dude that I was at like some bar in Brooklyn, and he was like, he literally looked homeless. I was like, oh, it's like a homeless guy. He started talking to me about it. He was like, yeah, you know any like place to like fucking live around here? And I'm like, dude, you are you like homeless? But we started like talking about traveling and like places we've been. And apparently he biked to New York from fucking Minnesota on his bicycle, not his motorcycle, on his bicycle. And he was like, and dude, that's the year that me and my brother were hanging out with Chris was fucking hilarious. The dude was like nuts. And yeah, he stayed over at my apartment while he was looking for a place for like a few weeks. And we would like box. And I remember thinking, like, I just realized because I'd be like, dude, let's like fucking box. And I'm like, he's like living here. Like, he can't really say no. I was like, I'm just some crazy guy, just like who's like, hey man, want to get punched? No French is shit, but that's the best option for me as a friend. Yeah, I won't stay here. I have friends a lot, and it's a shit show. It's like in New York City, but on steroids, dude. When I was in uh, like Paris, I was like, this place is not my vibe. I'm like, it's just as busy as New York, and the streets don't make any sense at all. I was like the driving there. I'm like, oh, so you guys are like just on the edgy, like you guys don't like have a concept of like getting hit by cars here, huh? Like I'll go to some other country. I'm like, you don't have lines in your road. Everyone just fucking just free wheels it. Like what the fuck? And maybe I'm like, hey, maybe like Americans, we're the retards because we need the lines, you know? Like, hey, I get like, dude, I was in France and I was like the Louvre or not the Louvre, like the big thing, you know, like the not the Louvre, the center where they have the tower thing. There was no. I was like, the traffic here is insane. It was. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, it would explain a lot. Yeah, just bowing around. Don't get hit in the head too much. You got a code, dude. I was in Paris during the last union strike. It's cheap travel, but the trash pile is higher than my head. Oh my god. The right now I'm like I'm just gonna stay stateside. I like America. Like for the most part. I mean, it's like getting it's a little degenerate. You go outside in America right now, you're like, oh, so like there's like everyone's. It's like either like a criminal or like a prostitute. It's there's like a spectrum. Not everyone. I'm being dramatic. A lot of fucking people though. Like It's old. A lot of taxes, overrated, filled with TikTok degens, North Africans, but it's far better than Tunisia. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. Also, not everyone's a fucking prostitute or a crackhead criminal, but it's a lot. It's getting to be a lot more. I'm just calling it like I see it. I feel like when people say stuff like that, people think you're like filled with hate or whatever. I don't have any hate. I ignore you. If I see a ton of tattoos and shit, I'm just like, hey, you do you. I'm gonna You know what's crazy though? Speaking of the boxing, here's an epidemic that's happening. Look at the divorce rates. Dude, and I'll see it happen in real time. This is a Western thing, I think, Reed, where it's like this is a Western thing. Guys will get addicted. It's because they're in the box, by the way. They'll get addicted to like these like flighty, like dating like really flighty girls. They'll get them pregnant, and then they'll destroy their entire lives. The divorce rates are. Let's look at the divorce rates. Look at the divorce rates. The U.S. This is because once you get, I feel like in that like once you hit 25, you start thinking about divorce rates. Okay, half of first marriages end in divorce. 2/3 of the second marriage, and dude, that's insane. It's like, and it's obvious. Like for me, it's obvious. For me, it's like super obvious. It's like, yeah, if you don't have a plan, because what happens is when you're in the box and you're like, I can't get out of the fucking box, and you have that, you don't believe in yourself, and you're like 20. The first girl you meet, or the first girl that like likes your dick, you're gonna like you're like that's my life because you don't know anything greater than that. Like it's kind of fucked up, but you know what's happening in America? The boys like they're getting mommies. Their first girlfriend's their mommy, and then they like destroy their life because they don't have like what's next for AI. Whoa, Sula, totally different conversation. What's next for AI automation startups? OpenAI dev day kills AI animation startups. Dude, Sulav, look at I talked about that. I got a chapter this video, but when I start talking about the web 1.0 thing, I talk exactly about that. It's worldwide, not even here. The divorce rate is so high, but it's not the same problem behind like it's in America. Ours is mostly because of poverty. Yeah, poverty caused divorce too. Yeah, I think a big problem with it is you could say it's just technology, but there's completely different rates in different cultures. So it's not just technology and like industries changing. I think a lot of it is the degeneracy. I think it's a lot of people that are like going from like for thousands of years we had like a male and female role, and now we just have like, hey, I want to put my dick in there. And like it's like we had this like, oh, like because I was thinking the other day, I'm like, dude, we probably need to have arranged marriages in this country. Like I was like thinking about it, I'm like that would probably solve a lot of problems. Like as men, we're getting scammed in marriage, dude. Fuck them hoes. Yeah, dude. Sometimes I'll think about it. I'm like, I mean, like, is that what am I like? I feel like a girl's like they'll say like they'll really want to get married, or they'll really like want to like convince you of like the value of like a lot of that. And I do like I think there's value to marriage, but also like when I really break it down, I'm like, I don't know. Here's a good thing, I think. It's like if you're a guy and dating a girl, it's like really be like, why am I dating? Why am I dating her? And don't think about her boobs for like once. Don't think about sex once, and really like think about why you're dating this person. Another reason, and yeah, I'm all like if you like love her and want to get married, like after that, 100%. Another reason why people not getting married is because people are just becoming more atomized and degen. 100. Sammy, are you in the Discord? Sammy, you get it. I'm starting to think I only want people who get it in the Discord. Like a dude on the internet is living on a different planet than women, dude. 100%. It's the atomization. So you get like your whole life experience is like just join, nice. It's just like internal. Hey, let's focus on tech part. Sulav, what? Sulav, let the men talk. No, we're talking about things that matter right now. Okay, so yeah, the atomization is 100% the issue. So it's like, yeah, high level convos are what matters. Sulav, don't try to get us talking about other stuff when we're in a flow state right now. Because what happens is you get into this like reality. That's why I think porn's so bad because it's like you're just experiencing like you're literally just doing things for yourself. Like so there's a loop of like life where you're supposed to go out and like build a life for yourself, and you're kind of just ending that in your hand. You know what I mean? Like this porn. I think porn's so bad. I think like, and also it fucks your energy, and your whole life is like self-fulfilling. Like you just become yourself. Like everything you fuck yourself. You know, like it's. I think it turns you into like you're just all about your con. Porn literally messes sex life. 100%, yeah. 100% Sulov. Yeah, it's like I think it makes you a little infertile if you're addicted to it. Once jerked off and went to a leg day in a PR. Reed, you just debunked everything I just said. Feels kind of related to the Web 2 to 4, where there's so much data that everyone can just get in their own world narrative. Dude, yeah. We're gonna get Matt back on the stream because that's what Matt and I talk about all the time. I just don't give a fuck. Yeah. The no, like, yeah, you just get in your own little like narrative. Another thing is it make women look like object. So like Sulav, like my knee-jerk reaction is to be like, no, that's no. But like you're right though. Like that's because at first I was like, nah, dude, that doesn't matter. It does. You do kind of actually do that. I did have to catch myself. I did start just seeing them as like, like, yeah, just like they're just like, because they're not just for fucking. Yeah. Yeah, dude, Matt's the best. Yeah, dude, like Matt and I talk about this shit type of shit all the time. Because what's gonna happen is, in my opinion, the AI stuff, they're gonna start getting to a point where you can like fine tune your own little world. That's why the heaven banning video I wanted to do, because I wanted to kind of show people how easy that is, where it's like you could just like you could like put people in their own little realities. Like how much of this shit is real? Like I know I'm not gonna get too into it, but like there's an argument to be made that like you shouldn't be consenting to any news narratives happening right now. And I get it. I'm not trying to say that nothing's happening or whatever, but it's like it's so easy to bullshit of news events, and it's been done in the past. So it's like, why trust the media if it's like, those who have questions about AI, go back and watch Jared's stream with Matt. You learn a lot, dude. Yeah, go. My buddy Matt, look back in the videos. It's like 3 months ago. It's, dude, one of the most. It's like Matt, because Matt's brain is crazy. Like he's like a genius. We talk about like a lot of what's happening right now and like the future. Yeah, Matt doesn't want to be too like public, so I kind of get that's mostly why we're not doing so much of the podcast, and I totally understand that. But dude, sometimes me and Matt will be talking, and like, uh, and I'll be like, dude, I gotta fucking get you on the stream, Matt. Like we're like today we were just talking about how like this open AI drama, and it's like, dude, it's like it's so not what people think it is. It's so funny. Can you name Matt channel? Oh no, he doesn't have a channel. It's just one video. It's like we had like 2, 3 videos. He's like a white guy that I did podcast with 3 months ago. So you'll see like there's an AI, I think, learn an AI first. You'll have to scroll a bit. Yeah, yeah. All right, guys. It's gonna be that time. I'll probably actually code tomorrow or Friday. Today was more fun, just like shooting the shit. All right, guys. Posting we could talk asynchronously in the Discord. See ya.